Hey everybody, John here at Havoc Maker Studio, and I missed a couple of videos due to some power outages and internet outages on Friday, so I'm going to try to make up for it today with a bunch of videos for both Havoc Maker Studio and FMP Wargamers. As a former member, or actually current member, a longtime member of FMP Wargamers, I've used to do the news over there, and I started doing it on Havoc Maker Studio, and then meeting with the original creators of FMP Wargamers, decided let's combine it together, and that way we can both benefit. So at the beginning, I want to go ahead and start by saying hit that subscribe button, and depending on which channel you are, head over to the other one and hit that subscribe button, because we're working jointly together. One's my studio, one is FMP Wargamer Studio. I am a part of both of them. So please help me out with that. Help grow both of our channels. So let's get into some interesting, juicy news. All right, so my first video back for FMP Wargamers and this dual process we're doing here, this dual streaming, sharing, whatever you want to call it, was taking Games Workshop to task over not only its past, or most recent, I should say, this year's snafus with their releases and failures repeatedly across North America. Also, the biggest one, it kind of kicked the whole thing off, was Curse City. And if you're not aware of that, somewhere down below, this should be the most recent video. I'm talking about Curse City and GW Games Workshop's big fail. So check that video out. Leave a comment. I appreciate it. So they've been pretty much finally, and this is the cool thing, that the community is outraged. Not just us, the consumers, but the friendly local game stores, the independent retailers. And it looks like the voice was heard. As I mentioned in my other video, how Games Workshop was scrubbing their Facebook accounts of any complaints about that. Now, it got to the point, I think it was oversaturation, and unless it was particularly vile or really near threatening, they just left it alone. And that was really after people started calling them out on scrubbing, I think. No proof of that unless they came out and go, you know what, John, you were right. We were scrubbing it. Our bad. I don't think they're going to do that, because just like companies like Disney and Warner Brothers, they're going to be really, really super secret squirrel about it, and they're going to get their spin doctors going. So that leads us up to today. They have decided to stop their pre-orders for the next few weeks. Now, is that 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months? Who knows? My guess is probably the rest of April. So after Bellacore is launched this week, that's when they're going to kind of slow things down, I think. No proof. They didn't say exactly how long this is take, but for them, who absolutely, for some reason, unlike any other company out there, they've got to crank out a release every weekend. Not having a release for a few weekends or a couple weekends, that's going to hurt their bottom line. And I think it was this year is their first, they started getting their first losses in, like, I don't know, since the days of Tom Kirby. So that's pretty significant. So let's talk about what happened. Because of all the complaints, Games Workshop's not going to admit it. So everybody that's out there right now blaming the neckbeards or the anti-Games Workshop people. I'm not even sure what the terminology is. It looks like we were right, you were wrong, and I would love to just rub it in. Maybe I'm actually doing that right now. I'm not sure, but I don't want to dwell too long on that, but it looks like we were right. Once again, until Games Workshop comes out and says we effed up, which they're not going to do, or that possibility exists, but the probability is incredibly low, no one's going to know for sure. But the evidence is more in the court of the people that were legitimately complaining with proof. So, but that still doesn't mean that you were 100% wrong. But it does. So they've got their spin doctors going with an update here for our pre-order schedule's changing a bit, and here's how. And it's not exactly a here's how exactly things are going to be handling. It really isn't. It's a very, very vague, ambiguous, if you will, description of what they're going to be doing. So they say with this, let me read this little bit here, in case you're just driving and listening. Everyone at Games Workshop is working really hard to get all of your orders to you in good time so you can continue to enjoy your Warhammer hobby, which, in all honesty, no snark, I appreciate. Now, whether that is via gamesworkshop.com, forgeworld.co, or your Warhammer store, or a friendly local games center, which is the front lines. They're the big money makers for Games Workshop. With this in mind, over the next couple of weeks, so probably 2 weeks it looks like, there will be a short pause where we'll have no new pre-orders. Have no fear though, new releases will be coming your way before you know it. So 2 weeks approximately, usually a couple weeks is 2. Sometimes with companies I would say look at it, add on another week. That when I say a couple of weeks, probably means a few weeks. But we'll take it at their word, a couple of weeks, 2. So in the meantime, they say, we'll have loads of great content every day here on Warhammer Community to slake your hobby thirst. Here's a taste of what you can expect over the next 7 days. Oh, so they say a couple weeks, 7 days. Well, we'll see. A look at the bold heroes and terrifying spiky villains from a forthcoming Warhammer animation. Very cool. Big model reveals for Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer Age of Sigmar. That's awesome. I think we have a preview show coming up soon anyways, and I think that's probably what they're talking about. And expert advice on dominating the mortal realms with Elf or Aleph, I'm not sure how you say that, armies in the Meta Watch. So Age of Sigmar players, look forward to that. Probably Lumineth Realm Lords are going to get something big in it. There is some hints that there was something going on with the Dark Elves in Age of Sigmar. Don't quote, well, I guess you can quote me on that. It's a rumor, and I'm trying to dig into one of my sources, but like I said before in my last video, a lot of my sources are dried up because Games Workshop has really cracked down on how those releases, and unless you're a big site like, I don't know, Spiky Bits, for example, and you got your hands in the Games Workshop pocket back and forth, which is not a bad thing. Let me say that right now. Kudos to them for their hustle on making that happen. But unless you are knee deep in their pockets or even just a little bit of a hand in there, no information is being leaked. So those sites become unofficial, official leak sources. Where sites like myself, F&P Wargamers, Havoc Maker Studio, we have to rely upon our own networking and reaching out to people and confirming sources, confirming rumors. And I mean, I get it wrong. I think about 15-20% of the time. The rest of the time is pretty gosh darn accurate. So let's see here. April 19th to 23rd, just the same old stuff. So that's it. Essentially what's happening is they've got a problem with their communications between the UK home offices on the sales side. Nothing is wrong with the production side, or the art side, whatever you want to call it, the ladies and gents that make all the content creators, if you will, for everything that we love about Games Workshop in our favorite Warhammer setting or settings. It comes from the supply and demand, basically, the logistics part of Games Workshop. And that's where the disconnect is. They're not making enough stuff. They're not shipping it on time. They're not communicating when they don't ship something. There are lots of miscommunication on how many are available. The works. Basically, it's a hot mess. And the senior leadership in both the UK and North America sales need to get their act together. Now, that's not saying that the individual sales reps are not responsible. Sometimes they're human. Sometimes they're going to make a mistake, but I don't hold them responsible for the messes that we've been seeing. Largely, those messes are coming from Games Workshop leadership, and yeah, we could see that big 2000, I think it was 2013. Kirby came in, right. This was, I think, right before he had retired, and just nixed North America, most of North America's sales team or their upper management, which was good because they were doing a bad job. I'm not going to get into how I know. Well, you guys know how I know because I worked for him during that time. So I can do a totally another show for this. So as critical as I am of Games Workshop and how frustrated I am repeatedly, I appreciate this apology, not apology, that they've given out here. And that the fact that they are going to correct it, or at least attempt. Let's say attempt to correct it. I'm really hoping that it's not going to be a oorah, sis boom ba, cheer session. Let's do our best. You know, you all are super valuable. No, I need them. I think we all need them. I think their investors need them to go push off all the flowery words and motivation and say, hey, XYZ needs to happen, and this is how you're going to do it. Moving forward, this is the step-by-step process. That gets done first. You need to get that done first. And then you let the spin doctors come in and go, all right, ladies and gentlemen, when your customers, your retailers or the local customers come out to you and they're very upset, this is what you'll say. And then you can have that. You can have that flowery legal speak or shop speak to make sure everything's so positive and Disney fresh. But just have that logistics side nailed down so you can do a better job. That's all we're asking. So that's it for this very quick update. And I'm very happy that Games Workshop at least announced, unannounced, not announced, half-assed announced, however you want to look at it this way. This is awesome. This is what we should have been getting at the very, very minimum. What we as customers, what the retailers should have been getting at a minimum. So as long as they do stuff like this when it happens, cool. But when they go months without communicating, that's bad for business. And then it reaches such a crescendo, it reaches such a fever pitch. Like Curse City was the final nail in the coffin. Like people exploded. From 160 to 16 to 8 to 4 copies, whatever. It was just madness, absolute madness. And then lying about it being part of the permanent line, both verbally and digitally, and then turning around and saying, no, it's not part of the permanent line. This is insane. They still owe us an answer for that. I don't think we'll get it. But at least we know that they're going to try to, we can at least assume here is that they're going to try to fix. They're not saying it exactly, but they're going to try to fix what is broken. So Games Workshop, I really super appreciate it. And dare I say, on behalf of everybody else, we appreciate you at least saying that you're going to be doing a couple things behind the scenes. There's no new pre-orders. And I'm hoping, and I think we all are, is that you are going to fix yourself. Because we don't want you going the route of privateer press. We don't want your kingdom to crumble. So please correct yourself. Anyways, you guys have an awesome weekend. I'm going to have another video. It's about some bad things that have gone on a national level for tournaments. And I'm going to try to get a third video out where it's nothing but positive energy, positive vibes, and let your crystals and essential oils soak it up and you can feel better, whatever, going into this next week. I'll make sure that third video is the happy one. It's the last one I will post for today. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on FMP Wargamers and jump over the links somewhere down below in the description. Head over to Havoc Maker Studio and make sure you hit a subscribe there. You guys have a wonderful day. Once again, I'll talk to you later.